So we never really came up with like a solid list of topics.
Sorry, I had to go to my other mic.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I know. I figured a lot of it was going to be you on your rant about Costream, and then did you want to go through the Reaper article today?
Wait, Reaper released an article?
Well, interview. He had an interview where he basically, I mean, I'll just say it now so you can have it on your mind for later.
Gotcha.
But like to summarize, he said TL and EG are his two, he thinks, best teams on paper right now. Like other than them, other than 100 Thieves. He said TL, EG are the best two on paper. TSM is his dark horse, if he's gonna have a dark horse, and Cloud9 and TSM are both like weird teams or teams that he thinks are cool because they both took a risk and went on rookies. But he's really interested in TSMs because they're LDL, and he's never seen LDL rookies in like another place. So he was like, "This is my dark horse team." He said, if they pull it together and their guys can learn how to play in an A, they'll smurf.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're Chinese. That was nutty though.
What, the games?
Yeah. Ugh, like the first one was really scary because I was like, I don't know if you guys win or not.
The biggest problem that we had early on was it felt like I don't know if you were like listening to the YouTube version of it or whether you were watching Twitch, but our comms were like very, very quiet. You could tell like the nerves of it being first game were definitely there. It came around by the end and we were able to shot call decently well, but like we had no vision pretty much the entire later half of that first game. We were like, every fight that we took was completely blind and reactionary. We weren't able to set anything up. There was nothing we could do. And every champion on their team that had CC built in their kit, so the Morgana, the Malphite, and the Nautilus had over 80 CC score.
Dang.
The highest on our team was 30. Like we could do nothing. It was just a matter of survive as long as you possibly could and pray to God that we found a way to win it later. And luckily we did, because the Misfortune walked under tier 2 tower bot lane for I'm not sure why, but she went that way.
Kind of nervous because like both squads actually seem pretty talented.
Yeah.
Like it's actually kind of nutty. Like your jungler is a smurf, bro.
Oh, dude,
that man is nutty.
And the part on that too is that Dobby's fill-in.
Yeah, Dobby was just a fill-in,
which is great. Like, he played stupidly well.
Oh, he's crazy good.
He's a support main.
Yeah.
So it's like
also DJ Slime is he's a top lane secondary.
Nice.
So he can fit in too.
Like our team works really well, but then again, like the difference between us and everybody else in this rec league is going to be that we handpicked this team from the options that we had available to like kind of craft this to be what it was. Now, by that same logic, we should have went 0-2 today because the role that we're using the most amount of points on in mid wasn't there. So like realistically, like this isn't shit talking other teams or anything else like that. This is just like being completely honest. If there was a week that we should lose, this would have been the one that we probably should have.
Yeah,
but we didn't.
Yeah, it kind of made me interested because like it felt like you guys had no direction. You know what I mean?
As far as
like, no, in like game.
Oh yeah.
You just didn't really know what you wanted to do all the time, or at least you weren't able to like set up before executing.
We had no setups for the most part. Like it was a lot of like, we got better towards the end of the second game where it was like, this is going to be up in a minute or so. But this is the difference between like having that time to scrim and practice just a little bit and just going into it. By the end of the second game, you warm up a little bit, but the first one was just,
it was interesting.
Hands are sweaty, a little bit nervous there.
We're never gonna get Viego ever.
I'm never gonna get Vayne again. I got 2 games on her. There's no chance that anybody lets her through again.
They're gonna ban your Vayne, and uh oh, what's his name? The other jungler. It's not Skyfalker. It's I forget. But he is also a Viego like main as well, or it's in his top 3, and it's like he has like a 4 KDA. I have like a 5 KDA, so we both have yellow KDAs on Viego.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna be perma bans every single game.
I'm not surprised that they banned my Varus there.
True.
But like at the same time, like
True.
the comp that they were going makes no sense to ban Varus.
True.
Like they have so much CC and Varus is immobile. Like why would you ban? I don't know.
I don't get why they kept giving you Vayne over Varus.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was weird. This isn't even our final form.
No, we got a long season to go. But
It's gonna be impossible to pick teams for playoffs.
It is. It's gonna be really difficult. But I think it's gonna become apparent though as we go on. I feel like.
I think you just lean A. If it looks tied, I think you lean A, because it's your like team. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
I mean, well, I still want to split the time though evenly, if possible.
True.
But we'll see. So we never technically kicked this off, but we're basically in the podcast.
True.
So hi everybody, welcome to the Crossover Podcast episode. I don't even know what. Gonna have to split this VOD into 2, which is gonna be interesting with YouTube. But yeah, we're coming off a relatively quiet week, all things considered, for LCS drama, news, etc.
Okay.
Like we are getting to the point where now it's like, okay, season's about to begin. You know, you got some business moves, you got some I don't know, you got like some insider stuff, like league ops, stuff like that. But beyond that, like there's really no massive headlines yet until games are actually played, unless I missed something.
For LCS, they basically didn't do anything. LEC had some cool stuff.
Well,
we don't have to get into that yet. I know.
We'll get into the LCS in a minute. I want to start off positive.
Actually, there was pretty big drama in LCS.
Which one?
The Reggie investigation.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Costreaming.
There's really not much to with the Reggie thing. Just to kick that out of the way now, Reggie's under investigation for workplace harassment.
Yeah, there's nothing to do there.
We've all known.
Wait, yeah, wait and see what they say. It's really like he's toxic, he's annoying, so I won't be shocked if he gets punished. I'm not sure, to be honest, what to say, because it has to be investigated, and like some people said Riot is going to do a bad job, but they've actually there was a legal podcast I heard that Riot, after the way they dealt with their allegations and how they handled changing their company, actually are the blueprint for most companies now.
Oh my god, yeah. Did you see the I think it was Mark Merrill released a letter of like what's to come over the next 5 years for Riot Games? And like the expectation. Really? Yeah. It was a really good read. If you're into, there's some corporate lingo in there to a certain extent, but it's way less corporate than you would normally expect, which is very gamer.
Yeah.
But it's honest, and I appreciate it. Like, you know, some people are gonna look at it because he talks about some of the inequality issues that are going on within Riot Games right now, and he talks about them as much as he legally can, but it's like, I appreciate you addressing it. You know, whether your actions will back that up or not in the years to come, that's everything. But you can't, like, that's all you can ask for in this moment. But he addresses where the state of the game, state of esports, state of everything, like Riot Games as a whole for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I was really happy with what he did, like with what Mark has done with dealing with that. I need to read the letter, and then I'll probably actually be able to like say something about it. But I am like really curious in the Reggie thing, because it's weird, only because like I wonder who's gonna come out and what's gonna come out of it and how it's dealt with. Because if it's something major enough that they want to get rid of him, I want to see how they handle separating him from League, because I don't see them making TSM sell the spot.
No. Well, no, they wouldn't make him sell the spot, but they'll basically force him. they'll
Hmm.
be put in the Equifox situation
Yep.
where, you know, the person is required to be removed. If they are not able to
Yeah.
be removed due to power obligation or contractual obligations, that et cetera, stuff like that, then Riot will take away the spot. But I there's no way in my mind it gets
I don't think
that.
it comes to that. Yeah.
No, because this is behavior that, at least to our knowledge, is mostly not in the I'm not saying it's in the past and completely done, but like the stuff that is noteworthy, like the really, really
Mm.
bold stuff, the stuff that's on video is now, you know, 3+ years old. So
Yeah, and
it's
a lot of it's
like,
public.
yeah. So it's like you're not going to be able to come out and be like, okay, we're going to make you sell your spot over this. Well, no, we've known about that and they didn't act previously, and that would be
Mhm.
too harsh of a punishment now
Yep.
to retroactively go through, because what TSM will claim is, oh well, this happens everywhere, and then you'll need to launch investigate. Like it's not worth it. In my mind, the end result of this is probably just a fine to Reggie, and then like required uh,
Yeah.
workplace policy updates for TSM
Yep. Which
with
will
like
be
a,
very interesting because their roster is moving to Mandarin. So
again, you can't be offended by
you can't
Reggie
bully
if you
them.
can't
Yeah.
understand them. That's the
Yeah.
important part.
That's what they've done. They're gonna get here and learn like uh the slim amount of English that they need to play the game correctly and all that. And they're gonna be sitting there. They're gonna hear some fan one day say, "Is Reggie mean to you?" And they're gonna be like, "He never talks to us." They're just gonna be sitting there like, "What do you mean mean? We haven't heard a word from him other than a paycheck." They're gonna
It's
be
just
like,
it's like listening to the Peanuts parents in the background,
yeah.
just wah wah wah. Like I
Yeah.
don't, sorry, don't know what he's saying. I can tell, I can see his not in his eyebrows. He's a little bit angry, but that's all I know.
Yep. So hopefully it ends up well. And then, yeah, the only other thing is your big, exciting venture of I am a little disappointed. I know you're
Well,
not as disappointed.
hang on. I want to shelf that because there's a topic I want to
Oh,
hit
okay.
before that to lead into it, and that
Okay.
is the LEC. Let's let's just start.
Oh.
I want to talk about that because I think that sets the ground for the conversation to come. Because
Uh-huh.
once we hit co-streaming, it's going to be nothing but that for quite a while. Because I know your stance, and you're going to be able to play devil's advocate very, very well on like the TikTok comments. Which, speaking of that, I'm going to need to grab my phone and pull up the comments so I can start addressing them one by one and start going down. Uh, the LEC put out a legitimate Billboard chartable song in Wildfire that is just the culmination of what is now 3 years of constant building from the broadcast team, expanding upon ideas, uh, continuously layering or leveling themselves up,
Yep.
and it's unreal to see. Like, they do a great job of getting you hyped for the regular season. You listen to that song and you're honestly gonna tell me that you're not excited to see Mad Lions and is it Mad Lions and G2? Or no, Mad Lions and Vitality clash this weekend. Like, it
Yep.
doesn't even matter who. Like, I'm just excited for the LEC now.
Yeah. And it's it's also like just the replayability of it is what got me. Like I just want to keep listening to the song, and it honestly does exactly what you said. It hypes you up, and then you keep listening to it, so you like it even more. And now I'm gonna catch myself watching LEC just because of like this song,
Yep.
and that kind of blew me away. How hyped I would get for a song, and I even said it like the first day. I was like, "This song doesn't really hype me up for LEC," and then like a few days later, I was like, "Okay, Broken Blade, I'm jumping back on your bandwagon. Just call me the toxic CEO fan at this point, because I only like teams that have toxic CEOs. It
Yep.
seems, but
Apparently so.
like, like it's kind of tough because you sit there and you hear all that from LEC, and then you see Koi and K Core games that are going absolutely crazy. I mean, selling out arenas, reckless chants, all
At
this
the
stuff.
Louvre. The
Yeah,
Louvre. The
the
Mona
Louvre.
Lisa is less than 500 feet away from where they're playing. Like,
Yeah,
it's
crazy
unreal
games.
how far ahead Europe is culturally than
Yeah,
America. It's
yeah.
legitimately insane.
Well, I mean, even worse for LEC, not to like dog on them, but so far they've been doing a song is what they've put out. And when you compare that to what the LFL and EPL, or is it EPL? Or
Uh,
no, it's I don't know. LEP maybe?
I'm not sure.
It's the Spanish league. That's all I know. But
Yeah,
the Spanish league and the French league legitimately have built more hype than the LEC or LCS combined,
yeah.
like for themselves.
And I
And
think
that's
that,
kind of insane.
well, okay, here's my question to you. If that K Corp KOI event is online, does that build the same amount of hype?
Well, no, not at all.
Exactly. Exactly.
No.
That like
Yeah.
that and that's the thing. If the LEC or LCS was in no, I'm not willing to say LCS. If the LEC was in person, I think they would be able to build up a similar amount of hype that you're currently seeing with the LFL.
Mhm.
The LFL had the advantage of playing show matches early in person, which obviously is, that's an advantage simply because you're playing the game. If the LEC was in person, the amount of things that they could have done would have been great, but they're limiting themselves due to the COVID precautions that they're taking.
Yep.
But it's like, and to be clear, it was not just a song either. They have released a piece of content every single day this week so far. They
Yeah.
released the
They've also
song on
done
Monday, behind the scenes on Tuesday, to make sure that the song still got its waves. Today they had the broadcast announcement, which had its own 2-minute video to
Mhm.
fully show and explain and kind of build hype around some of the people that were in there, because you had new talent coming in that some people were excited about. On top of that, you had the podcast today, which to my knowledge at this moment has the LEC or has the LCS released their podcast.
I don't know actually. That's a good point.
No, they have not.
Hmm.
No, the LCS has not released their podcast.
Yeah, that's not a good look. I mean, terrible look. Like you got to be thinking, what is the goal here? Like, what is our actual like cap? I would say because right now it just feels like we're. I don't know, man. It feels like we're behind,
Wait one
and
second. I think I just accidentally closed out of the live stream.
oh.
Oh, nope. We're good. We're good. Whew. Close. Close. Really, really close there.
Yeah, my only thing with LCS though, I guess to like sum it up would be just I need to see more content that kind of matters, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it matter. I don't know how you make better content. That's not really my forte or my job, I guess. But I need something to go off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely get it. Okay. Do you have any final words on LEC before we really dive into this? Because
No.
this is the perfect time to segue to it. I know it.
Yeah.
We haven't really spent much time on anything else yet, but this is gonna take a bit. The big announcement that was subtly hidden from a lot of people, including myself. I didn't even realize that it was part of this announcement until 5 hours later when I was watching Hotline League, and they said that it was in there. Co-streaming has been significantly scaled back to the point where you can only stream or only co-stream on Super Weeks, playoffs, and lock-in. Now, that is still a good bit of the year. I'd say probably around like half of it, because
Huge
you're going to
bit
have
of
2 Super Weeks of the year out of 9 weeks. Playoffs is going to be at least 4 weeks, so that's 6 there, and lock-in is 3. So you have 9 in spring alone. So it's not like you're fully taking away co-streaming entirely, but you are scaling it back, and the majority of the regular season you can only watch the main broadcast. I want your initial thoughts.
So for me, it sucks because I like co-stream. I like Sneaky and Meteos really, and Double Lift's co-streams. I thought those were fun. I watched a bit of LS's, and it makes the bad games better, or at least more watchable. But with that being gone, I don't really know what to think because I have to see it first. I'm gonna need to see a bit better analyst desk segments at least, because that is the part usually where I flip off first, which I know probably is annoying, but that's the part I try to get out of quickest. So
I'll be upfront. I'm the complete opposite. I look forward to the analyst desk segments every time. I enjoy the conversation that they're having, whether it's highly analytical, more playful, or even just an interview. Analyst desk style content is just the type of content that hooks me in. That said, I will acknowledge, and I don't think this is a brash statement to say, that the LCS analyst desk has been lacking for 3 years now.
agreed.
It has not been the same. The discussions have not been what they were at even the beginning of franchising, and obviously pre-franchising as well. A lot of that, in my opinion, comes from the lack of Jat as a consistent presence year over year. And then just changes that have continuously been made as viewership has continued to decrease alongside the decrease in general play. Because if we're being honest, in 2019, towards the end, I'd be willing to say all of summer 2019, 2020, and the spring of 2021, LCS was memed to death for being a bad gameplay region. We didn't have any international results. We didn't have anything to back it up there. So I'm not going to disagree why some of that perception is there. I don't think the LCS broadcast did enough to help change that. But I think this past year specifically, co-streaming made it 20 times worse. Let me start off my counter argument by this. Would you agree that the severity of negativity over the last year has been worse due to co-streaming?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you feel like that is that co-streamers being honest, or is that co-streamers being brash?
Brash.
Why?
Actually, I got to think, but I think it's brash because I think the issue is co-streamers don't think about the negatives that come from saying some of the stuff they say.
I don't think about the product.
The product they're promoting, and the product that's getting them 30,000 viewers, right? 20,000 for like LS, 30,000 for Double Lift, a few thousand for Sneaky Meteos, and maybe 10, 12 for Dom.
Yep.
Like all of them. That's a significant amount of viewers on Twitch.
Yeah.
That's basically, if you do that 3 days a week,
yep,
like you're making or 2 days a week. You're not, I don't know how much that really makes for them, but that's a pretty good amount, I feel like, on those game days. Yep. And if you're the whole time you're slamming the product that you're watching along with people, they're not going to watch along as much.
Or they will develop this perception that without the co-streamers to feed that narrative, they don't want to watch because it's a shitty product, or so they've been told for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that the product already is declining. I'm not denying any of that. But I am saying if we went from a 9 to a 7 before co-streaming, we went from a 7 to a 5 because of co-streaming.
And it's weird to me. I don't like saying it this way, I guess, but it's the way I feel about it, is that it's odd Double Lift constantly says stuff like, this guy shouldn't be in the league. A lot he says that about certain dudes on other teams, but he won't go to a org that isn't top 5 in history because he doesn't want to go somewhere and prove it with Jensen and Vulcan. They had options other than EG.
Yeah. They could have taken the pay cut to do it.
Yeah. And even if you don't take, I don't think maybe they're taking that significant of a pay cut. But if you are, and you are that guy and you're going to keep saying you're that guy, then you at least got to go kick out some of the dudes who shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. Like, I think Immortals, or, well, maybe not Immortals would have paid, but I think a couple teams would have paid.
I don't think they should have though. Like
I don't think
there's no cost benefit to
no
bringing them
incentive.
in.
Yeah, because they're going to leave you.
Exactly.
They're
Because
not there for the org.
that's my biggest problem with all of this. And this will be my overarching point. Co-streamers are co-streaming the LCS to improve their own brand. They may enjoy the LCS, but they do not care whether it succeeds or not because ultimately their content will still be there after it's all said and done. They couldn't give a shit.
True.
And when you have Doublelift and when you have LS, I'd say was less of a perpetuator. He was hypercritical. But the difference between LS and Doublelift was LS would say, this play is wrong. This is what you should be doing. And he would complain if he didn't see that. Doublelift would just say, get this guy out of the league. Meteos was a little bit more constructive. Sneaky just added one-off comments in. Really nothing too significant. But it's like, you are actively tearing down this product publicly. So think about what that does to the LCS. Put yourself in the shoes of the LCS. Yes, the product is struggling relative to prior years. But the last thing you need, the last thing that sponsors want to hear, are people that have a significant influence over the narrative of your story publicly shitting on the league. What good does that do? On top of that, the main area that you referenced earlier that a lot of people care for, which this pisses me off to no end. I watch co-stream, so I don't have to watch the ads. I can watch Doublelift and everybody else in between games. What the fuck do you think funds the league?
I didn't say
this,
ads.
No, not you, but I have heard this
okay.
argument, and I saw this on TikTok, that why I'm going there between games, because why would I want to, A, listen to the analyst desk segment, and B, there's nothing on anyways. Sorry, you're supposed to just, if you don't have to actively listen to the ads, but you have to have them there, because that's how this shit gets paid for.
Yeah.
That's how the league exists. You are watching a free product that relies on sponsorships, advertisements, and other areas of revenue in order to survive. And you're telling me you're so selfish that you have to go somewhere else because you don't want to watch the ads? And Doublelift and the other co-streamers, when it's between games or when an ad comes on, what do? They turn off the stream.
Yep.
They go to something else. So advertisers are not getting their promised numbers that they should be getting. What good does that do the LCS? You are just causing long-term hurt by just taking people away and training them not to watch the advertisements. Training them to do anything else, to look away, to do anything else. Rather than, if the LEC gets a sponsor or something like that, people will tune away, but nowhere near in the same amount of scale. At all. And it's not negatively viewed in the same way that it is for the LCS. Like, what? There's
really
no counter argument to that.
It's just not, I don't know. It's not very, I would say it's not developmental for the league. That's my biggest thing. Because when you have a lot of, especially historical guys doing it, like dumping on people, it's just even worse. Like, it's it's like having Terry Bradshaw like co-streaming every NFL game. Like, nobody wants to listen to Terry Bradshaw try to call like Aaron Rodgers bad.
Yeah.
All the time, and other people bad. Like, that's not why you watch like football. That's not why you watch anything. And I feel like other sports, you can have people kind of joking around a bit more about it being bad. If casters do it, that's okay. They can say that at times. But
it
I
is
think
never the
casters
majority
also,
narrative.
Yeah, the casters do a good job of navigating that.
Yeah.
And that's not what co-streaming does. Co-streaming just becomes an echo chamber, and that echo chamber does get really dangerous. But it's also worse because they like reference other leagues the whole time. Like, this league is better, blah 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 blah. And then you like go watch Worlds this year, and really just China and Korea are good. Both Western scenes aren't doing great.
let me add 2 points onto that as well. One of the big counter arguments I always see is, well, the LCS casters and analysts are not being honest to what the product is showing on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
One, no shit. They can't come out here and just say this product is shit because, again, what benefit does that serve?
Yeah.
Them coming out and just publicly shitting on the league that they're casting, that they're analyzing. What good does that do anybody? Do they have constructive feedback? Sure. Freak's most notable clips over the last 2 years have been him flaming teams in game. Kobe and Azale have both notably done so as well, publicly, but people wouldn't know because they quote unquote mute the broadcast. They've been doing this, but not every minute of the game. Why? Because they can't. Because what good does that do?
Yeah,
To
it's
just
not good for the
constantly
league.
be negative. It's not healthy. And the second
Just
part of
ends up killing the league.
exactly. The second part of this is, well, we need that honesty because that's what drives views. No, the fuck it didn't. The LCS Summer Split had the lowest viewership, peak, and average concurrent that it's had in 5 years. People tried to tell, somebody tried to come at me on TikTok earlier today, and it's like, oh, well, viewership has increased. These co-streamers are bringing in new viewers by the 1,000 to help grow the league. No, they haven't. They're taking away the people that were already watching the broadcast that just want to go watch them instead.
Yeah.
We are not seeing a viewership increase. If you don't believe me, go on esports charts, look up every split. Spring 2021 finals was incredibly high. The stat that Riot is preaching for the LCS is average watch time increased. Well, no shit. We had 3 days of games versus the prior 2 that we used to have.
Yeah.
So that's
And
a
that's
given.
never-
We have more league.
It's never good when people start going deep in the stats book for viewership.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
You should just be able, like LEC off the cuff, 800,000 viewers, peak,
Yep.
all-time record high for them. That's it.
That's all they gotta say.
You don't have to dive into it further. You automatically know how the health and status of their league is just by that. Is that the best metric? No, but it is a relevant comparison.
I don't really know anybody who's like actively told me they're excited for lock-in.
No, I don't know a single person.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. I don't know.
And why? Here,
weird.
let's dive into why. Because this is, I care more about this question than anything else.
Yep.
Why do people not care?
No content. There's nothing
We
to
haven't given them a single reason to.
Yeah.
The argument is all over social media that this year the LCS might be better than the LEC in terms of teams. Now, granted, lock-in hype is dwindled a little bit because you don't have all the main rosters. I get that. Not fighting against that. But the Demacia Cup was still hype in the LPL. And all of these small tournaments and the ability to see 100 Thieves and Evil Genius's full main roster against some of these sub and academy teams puts a precedent early on. It's still good League of Legends.
Do you think it'd be good for a not lower tier org, but maybe one of the mid-tier teams to upset lock-in?
Win?
Do you think that
No.
would help with the narrative?
Cause some
Make
upsets.
finals?
Here's the problem though. If that happens, you know very damn well what the narrative's going to be.
True,
NA
it's
is
gonna be good
NA
teams
is
are
so
bad.
shit that the mid-tier teams can even beat our defending champions
True.
in 100 Thieves.
Well, I was more meaning if the C9 or TSM like academy teams could
No,
figure something
I
out.
think it would be more detrimental given the current narrative.
I agree.
If they end up taking it, like it would legitimately hurt the brand even further if 100 Thieves
Yeah.
or EG chokes this really hard.
Or Immortals, or if Immortals did something cool.
Yeah,
That
and that's
would be
not.
terrible for the league.
I don't want to shit on these teams. I'm just saying we all
Yeah.
know what the narrative is going to be early on.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because co-streaming exists for the entirety of lock-in. If you really think that Double is not going to come out and say, "Wow, Immortals won this, and I could have been on EG and won it with them," if you think that he's not going to say that, you're out of your fucking mind.
Which is wacky because Danny's one of the best ACs in the league.
But you know it's gonna. I say that,
wacky.
and you know that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Although, have you seen some of Danny's tweets?
no, I have not.
I'm not like, this isn't a drama stir thing or something to say like I there's not like anything behind this that I think is supposed to mean anything, but he's been tweeting a lot about how much he misses Ignar.
Oof,
And I think that's kind of tough.
that's not good.
Yeah.
But I
Like
mean, I
not
trust
when I
EG
say a
though.
lot, I mean like he did one on Christmas and he did one another time, another week. Like it's not a ton, but it's
Yeah.
enough to where you're like, wow, maybe it was like a mistake bringing in a random support who is trying to replace him with double lift. It's not
I
like he
mean,
doesn't read rumors.
yeah. I I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's like,
Here's my question. Do you think Vulcan's on a tight leash then?
yeah, absolutely.
Like if he plays bad, do you think they bring in Ignar quick?
Uh, well, the
Do they have Ignar still?
Impact's not a resident though, is he? Or is he?
He is.
Okay, so
He is.
they have a spot then, if
Yes.
need be. They could,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, realistically, if Vulcan doesn't go well, they can easily just make a move and
Mm-hmm.
do something with it. That's no problem.
Because my only thing is, if you see Vulcan get moved out, how bad that hurts the Jensen double lift. Like this team should have been sitting here
I
giving us whatever we wanted.
I disagree though. As long as JoJo Pyun performs decently well, then no,
Yep.
the narrative still is, yeah, Vulcan's, fallen off. It is what it is. Like
No, that's what I'm saying.
Jensen,
I think, like, yeah, I think that Vulcan, like, if Vulcan can't figure it out with these guys, and Ignar comes back and these guys look good, that it's even more stomping down the idea that you need to keep recycling the old NA talent
yeah.
without new, which shocks me too that Riot isn't promoting any of the new squads. I know TSMs and C9s aren't there, but I feel like I've heard nothing about EG. And when I say nothing, I mean like legitimately nothing. And I browse Twitter quite a bit. I browse other ones. I send you a lot of videos of teams and side videos that get me going. And I haven't seen anything from a single LCS team
Yep.
on Twitter. All I've seen is Fudge say in on Skype, "I'm going to beat Bjergsen,"
Yep.
and I was like, "Okay, all
And
right."
this gets into the final point around co-streaming as well. I think this look, Mark Z was just announced that he is going to be a part-time analyst now. They're shifting back to the format of having 2 permanent analysts and 1 rotating
Sad.
for both days, which I'm really sad about. But
It's really
uh,
sad.
the rumors are reportedly Jat might be back. Emily Rand might be one of the consistent analysts, which I'm happy with that duo. If Emily can continue to develop as an analyst, because I do enjoy her personally.
Mars is funny.
I know. I agree, but they want to go back to that style. And here's my thing with this. This is my one point of optimism that I will say to those that are looking and are just insanely negative on the co-streaming changes. The onus is not on Doublelift, on LS, on Dom, or any of the co-streamers to provide you with content that is entertaining, that is purely on the broadcast. They are a band-aid fix that was not working well, clearly, so it had to be removed. They'd rather deal with the bullet wound than just try and cover it up. They're making changes to broadcast talent. Hopefully, it leads to more content. But the biggest problem that we have in North America, as Paul just said, we have no fucking content at all. None. This entire week, I've been waiting for that one thing that's going to come out and hype everybody up for lock-in. I get not all the teams are there, but you still have, as Paul said, all these younger players coming, all these substitute players, but you have some rookies coming in with like TSM that are going to be good to watch. And the only piece of content that we've gotten from the LCS, they did a 10-day countdown to celebrate 10 years of LCS that will end on day 1 of lock-in, but it's all historical stuff, nothing current.
Yep.
Today they released a quick like questions, like kind of joke video, which I'm fine with that content, but that can't be the only thing. And that's the problem. Because of the staffing changes that they're making, they clearly were not able to produce any content in the offseason because nobody knew if they'd have a job or not. And because of that, we're left sitting here with nothing. And I don't know. There's no positive to take away from that at the moment.
No.
They just need to get into the studio and just start making shit. Put out as much content as you can. If you put out 100 things in the spring split and 2 of them hit, that's good. That's 2 things you can build off of. It doesn't matter if the other 99 failed. Why do you think the LEC got to the point where they are now? Do you know how much shit they threw against the wall content-wise?
Yep.
That missed? But eventually they found 1 or 2 that hit, specifically the music videos, and they just built. And kept building and building and building, and look where it's at now.
One more, like, this is just a quick note on what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you can jump back in on top of this, because I want to
Okay.
know what you think. The LEC today announces their lineup of casters and analysts, and the tweet has like 10K likes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And like that has to be flooring for LCS. They release a tweet with photos of people coming back and easily get 10K likes.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's zero hype around the LCS, and that's purely because we've dropped the ball on content significantly. And I get why people want to turn to co-streaming, because there's not anything for them to latch on to with the main broadcast, but that is not the way to do this. That is, the onus is on the LCS to recognize that and to fix it on their own, because that is the sustainable solution long term, not your co-streaming. Because the co-streamers, as I said earlier, they care about their brand, not about the LCS. If you care about the LCS and you want the LCS to grow, still voice your concerns about the broadcast. Sure, don't be a dick about it. Don't come out here and be like, this person's terrible, they need to be fired. No, give constructive criticism. And when they come out with content, give it a chance and don't just shit on it. But dear God, like, the content difference between the two is just mind-boggling. And it's like, the LCS, what I don't want to see in spring is I don't want to see us just do the same stuff, which it looks like we're already doing. Like the 10 thoughts with Emily Rand, I love that. That's fine. That's a consistent piece of written content that's worked internationally for a while. That's fine. But video content, you need something more. You need skits. You need sketches. You need comedy. You need serious pieces. You need everything. You need a mix of all of it to get it to work. And putting out nothing is just killing us.
Yep. And I went to look it up while you were doing all this. And just to note, Wildfire has 14K likes. Just a picture of Chrissy Costanza, is that her name?
Yep.
Something like that.
Chrissy
Yeah, Chrissy Costanza
or
has 30K likes. The other one with the analyst has 8.6K. You go to LCS, bruh. Our best one in a while is 2K. And it's just a picture that says, who do you think will be Spring Split's MVP? And it has a picture of Bjergsen, Spica, Closer, and Fudge. And it's 2K likes. That's our best one. That's our banger. Most of them have 100, like 100 apiece. The content they put out today, 7 hours ago, has 186.
That's the video of like the LCS questions.
Yeah, questions.
Click on that and read the comments, because I did that earlier. That'll give you a real scope of where things are at.
Oh, never mind. It has 605.
Whoa.
A real boost to the content.
Sorry.
I want a high five.
And
Captain Flowers comment.
I just want to be clear to anybody from the LCS that might, for some reason, end up seeing this. This is not me shitting on your brand. This is me giving constructive feedback of what we need to see to improve it.
Yep.
I'm not saying that the league needs to end, that anybody's bad or anything else like that. I'm saying exactly what we need to see from the product moving forward. I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this has mostly been constructive criticism, other than the backlash towards people that have been irrational against co-streaming.
Yeah, if you want to rewind. I was just letting know. Someone asked if we talked about co-streaming. And I was like, yeah, you'll wanna rewind like 20 minutes back because that's when we started. But no, that it's not hate. It's not even flaming them. It's not trying to be rude. It's more of just like right now there's something going on that isn't really clicking. And if you want to get out of this, you're gonna have to change things.
Yep.
Because like what college football did to kind of mix things, because last year was their lowest like viewership year ever on a national title. So this year they tried to change stuff up. They tried to bring in different hype. They kind of changed the way they marketed it going in, and unfortunately can't change the teams, and people get bored of the same team every year. But they changed a lot of their marketing style, and they brought in a lot of guys like Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III to do content pieces on their platform.
Yes. That's
And
the big note. On
that's
their
yeah,
platform.
on their platform. And if that's something LCS wants to try to do, if they want to try to save things by bringing in a Doublelift type, bringing in a Jensen type, bring in a Broxa type because he's back on TL, do what you have to do. Bring in people. That's okay. But I wouldn't keep going down this road, especially the fact that you're moving people to part time. That's worrying. And I want to keep this up.
I don't mind it to a certain extent when it comes to like the talent reductions, because by all means, let's be honest, we had too many people on the broadcast last year. The constantly rotating analyst desk and never knowing who was on,
Yep.
it didn't feel like it lended well to anything. We talked about this with Sylvix. The intro shows, while great, those are things that you should be putting out Monday through Friday. Those are the pieces of content that you need that, to be clear, need to be way more about the LCS rather than just like general league and general like stuff in general. Even replay files, for as great as the show was purely a historical look. It did nothing to build the current narrative of the LCS. It just gave you more insight into the past. We need more attention on what's going on right now. People need to be excited about Jojo Pune entering the league in the same way that they're excited about Flacked and Targamas for G2. But we're not. We're not producing any content that leads up to that hype. There's no discussion around it because we're not forcing the discussion. The LCS drives the narrative. That's the important part here. The reason why they're downscaling staff and the reason why they're making all these changes is to hopefully take control of the narrative. That's good, but you need to start talking about it. You can't control a narrative if you're not speaking.
I agree.
And you're speaking, your way of promoting that is through your content and through your analyst desk segments. We're not, with the season hasn't started yet, so where's your content? And don't tell me COVID's a goddamn excuse because we've been in the off season for 2.5 months. I don't care if you were changing staff. There had to have been a few people that knew they were staying around, like Captain Flowers and a few others that you could have worked with to put something out.
I know he was going through a break.
Yeah,
so like
fair.
maybe if you wanna,
I don't want.
No, I'm saying like if that's though an excuse is that he was on a break, Trevor or Quickshot was also on a break, and LEC's other members filled in, and your guy somebody has to fill in. Like right now, the issue is honestly LCS has no Medic or Dracos or Vedius.
No. You have
I feel
nobody to just spitball ideas and somebody to just like say, do it, fuck it, do it.
Yeah, those three I feel like really push the boundaries. And then Shox is really good at getting them to do TikToks or something random.
Yeah.
And their youngness and just building up is awesome. And then you have like, I don't know, whatever the LCS is trying to do.
And like, here's the thing. A lot of people made a big deal out of Avali not returning to the LCS back when, and to a certain extent, I do agree. But at the same time, people need to realize her content is very niche to a certain extent. That like that cannot dominate your content. That needs to be like every once in a while you throw a segment like that in to kind of like spice it up a little bit. But that's not sustainable long term.
It wasn't for me at least.
No, by no means am I trying to discredit or say that she shouldn't have been there. I still think she should be a part of the LCS. But it's like, I don't know. And Alex brings up a very good point in chat. Is it the casters? Is it the people that we've been seeing? Or is it the people not giving them the green light to do it? And the problem is we don't know.
We don't know right now.
I refuse to believe if Jad is involved. Think about how much content Jad was able to put out prior to becoming TL's head coach. The
Yep.
JLXP became a beloved podcast across all of International League. Every time he was on the analyst desk, people enjoyed his segments. Every time he did supplemental content, like the TSM skits and a few other things that they would do there, they did very, very well.
Yeah.
Where is that? And if we're not getting that from the people that we currently have with the LCS, then you need to find new people that are willing to do so. I understand it takes time to build people up like that, but that's where it's like, you have to have, they guaranteed to have a talent agent somewhere.
Yeah, and the one thing is that's odd about them bumping Marks is that like his one Silver Scrapes meme went huge.
Yeah.
That's like one of your few people who actually hit on a content piece, and you're dumping him. Like, it just makes no sense to me. It's like that was one of the few things that people genuinely loved, and they're dumping him, and it's just like worrying me because it seems to be the trend. It seems to be the trend that they're getting rid of a guy who actually hit, and oh, that's gonna be weird. Is Jat back?
We don't know.
If he's not
that's
back
everybody's
and Marks
guess.
is part-time, that worries me.
Oh no, I'm telling you right now, if Jat is not back and Mark was moved to part-time, we got problems. Because there's not a single person announced that's already a part of the LCS ecosystem, to my knowledge, that I have faith that will put out content like we need on a consistent basis.
I mean,
Again,
we're dang near to a point where just stream from the players with their comms, like.
And it's like I don't.
I mean, because Rivington's been gone. He's been doing Valorant.
Valorant, yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if people didn't like him or not. I thought he was a good commentator.
I enjoyed him.
And him being gone has really, you can feel a gap is there.
Yeah.
At least. I mean. Yeah. I mean, who was it else that left? Zyrene, right? Was that his name?
Yeah.
When he left, I was really sad, and it just feels like every time somebody's good on LCS, they leave.
Which 9 times out of 10 speaks more to management than anything else.
Yep.
But it's like,
and they don't even hire Ender when he wants to come home. Like, that's crazy.
To be fair, Ender did want to do Valorant. Like, he specifically said that
he wanted to do Valorant.
Yes, he wanted to do Valorant. So it's a little bit different. Yeah, Zyrene was fired due to lateness issues. He missed an alarm for Worlds and then got fired afterwards. So that I do understand that is a little bit different. But at some point, time has passed. In my mind.
My thing is, though, I get, like, you want to fire him for the lateness issue, right? But, like, oh, that just doesn't stick with me because, like, was it one mistake or multiple?
One mistake, but apparently it was a very big one at Worlds. Like a very significant one. So
that just isn't enough for me because, like, my thing is he was a big part of their content and them moving up. And
okay, well here's my question to you. Is there a single person that you know that you would like to see on the analyst desk that you think would make it more enjoyable? Or not even necessarily on the analyst desk. I think if you, personally, this is just me, I'm fine with a Jat, Emily, and one rotating guest analyst desk. That's fine so long as Emily continues to develop in the way that she is.
Yeah.
Who would you hire else to just do content?
Nobody. I don't know of anybody.
That's the problem. I can't think of anybody.
you could start doing some streamers, but
You could, but like how many of them are going to be willing to come
only a
on the LCS
couple. Yeah,
broadcast for the rate that they're doing? Put Dizzy Davis
and
Ariels on the dude, here's the thing. Paul would do better
yo,
because Paul knows like the actual like analysis of the game. I would not do well on the analyst desk. I'm telling you that now. I
you would
don't
you would one time say, "I just feel like this team's gonna win," and people would be like, "What's he saying?"
I
But you're usually right
you
when you say that, though.
you need people on the analyst desk that know the game at a
Sure.
very in-depth level, which I don't. Look, I enjoy making content, and by all means, you want to bring me in to like head up like just random like bullshit content for the hell of it and just be like featured on broadcast from time to time and like maybe discuss like general optics around the team. Fuck yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and try and talk about the game itself or like why this player picked this item, because that's not me, that's not what I'm good at. But if you need somebody that's going to do like a weekly therapy video or like content like that, that's just more like entertainment purely based around the storylines. I give zero fucks about what happens in game on a technical level,
How
just
did that
purely
video
macro.
go, by the way?
It went
Good.
decently well.
Let's go.
Uh, it went. I don't. Twitter's never really a metric that I use. Uh,
Hmm.
those never really tend to do all that well. The LCS therapy video did almost 3K views, 3 shares, and positive comments all around.
Nice. But
So
yeah,
I will take
I
that.
don't know. I'm thinking you could try to bring on some Trick 2G, Tyler 1, and like maybe Double Lift at some point. You bring him on. Get Sneaky in there, Meteos. Those are two consistent ones they try to ditch. The as good as the show was, the podcast show they did,
Yeah, next
that
level.
one, keep that one, keep next level occasionally. You don't have to put it out a ton.
Yes. Or
Occasionally.
I'm fine with it every week, just on Tuesdays. Put that on
True.
Tuesdays. Put the dive on Thursdays. The next level will just
That's
focus on
not a
like macro
terrible.
elements of the league, and the
Yeah.
dive goes like in depth on the current status of the teams, etc., stuff like that.
And then you know what I really want on there that I feel like we need on the analyst desk? I want coaches. I want to know who Chowie is. I want to know who Reaper is. I feel like I never hear Reaper talk.
Yeah,
Like you have to look for his interviews. And I have to look for Chowie interviews. And I want to hear them on the analyst desk occasionally talking, getting it out there. They both have good English. Uh I want to hear LS talk. I want to hear
agree.
what he has to say. I want to hear TL's coach, Giotto. I don't want to
Yeah,
say it wrong.
Kyoto.
But I want to hear him talk, and I want to hear Immortals. I want to see both of Immortals on there. I want to see their rookie head coach and Dardoch on there.
Here's the thing I'll add to that though. While I want to see them, I want to have people on the broadcast that can also keep a compelling conversation with them. The thing that made
Yep.
LS on the LEC broadcast last year so entertaining was that Shocks, Vedius, Dracos, and everybody else, they were able to keep up with him. They were able
Sure.
to meme just as much. They understood what he was talking about. Were able to kind of push back on some of the points, but still continue the conversation. A lot of times, what happens with the LCS, it seems like, is these casters, people come in, or not casters, the coaches, players, they come in and they dominate the entire conversation. Like the LCS tries to like put them up on a prop and like make it purely about them. It should be about them, but it should also be about them and their interactions with the people that are up there. And I just don't feel like it ever has been. It's just like it's purely questions rather than conversation. I think it's the best way of saying that.
Alex, did you hear LS enough already? True. But
Yes and no, but get ready because they're gonna use and abuse the ever living crap out of that one.
yeah, I saw also interesting side bit I'll put in. People should go watch the Marks and Travis Gafford. Is LS nepotistic? Funny
Great video, by the way. Great
Incredible
video.
video. Very funny and very good.
Very
Very
informative,
interesting.
fair,
Yep.
still jokes around a good bit, but
Yep.
like is a kind of a meme question brought into a serious
Yes.
light, which I
It's a
really
very
like.
good, like comedic, well, mockumentary, really, like more than anything, or mocku commentary. I don't know what you'd call that.
Yeah, Maki commentary.
Because like it's them putting some legitimate points out there that his friends seem to get better positions than not his friends when he's running a team, and that can sometimes lead to his team underperforming and him taking on more stress than he needs to because he's simultaneously defending his friends and also getting beat. But it's funny. It's a good video.
Yep.
And that type of stuff, I wish they would promote that. Like, slap that up on there. Honestly, hire Gafford and Marks to occasionally do a video for LCS. Part-time Travis Gafford. Part-time that man too. If you're gonna part-time
I
Marks,
doubt Travis would ever take it.
I don't think he would, but it would be hilarious if he did, because I would like the content. But yeah, and as much to your credit as we don't love her cringy style, like Ovalie was at least throwing things out there.
Yes, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
She put content out there. Whether you liked it or not was completely irrelevant. She put stuff
Yeah.
out there for you to digest.
Because I really today wanted I wanted today to talk about, like, I wanted this to be all about power rankings, who we thought was going to win lock-in, getting excited. But when they literally did nothing to hype it, that became impossible to come on here and do.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't,
sad that we're the week of lock-in and this is the conversation.
yeah, like but we can't just come out here and tell people, hey, we're so excited for blah 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 and blah 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 to see, is TSM's Academy mid actually good, is Cloud9's is Fudge gonna be good mid, that'll be sick, is EG's new roster good, is TL gonna just stomp everyone, or is 100 Thieves still the best? But instead we're sitting here going, so there's been like 2 videos this week with about, and the highest liked piece of content this week is a picture that says, who's your spring split MVP before lock-in. I really hated that part, really, the most.
Yeah.
They go, who's your spring split MVP or spring MVP? And they don't account lock-in for that.
No,
So like,
you can tell there's just like this intentional ignoring of like, we're just gonna cut our losses with lock-in because the majority of teams aren't there and focus on spring. That's fine. I hope you know I'm gonna be super critical the week leading into LCS spring if you don't put out shit every day.
yeah.
Like, not even just one. At this point, you need multiple things a day.
Yeah, and they have to just be okay. And not the around the horn budget edition. We don't need that again, even though it was kind of funny, kind of good, kind of bad sometimes. I just think it's not what LCS needs right now.
Oh no, I agree. No, that I
Yeah.
100% agree upon. And like, I feel like that would be a great Monday show.
Yeah,
If
it's just
if you,
a kind of to me.
what do you think of this? A Monday version of that, all of the questions purely focus around what happened in the prior 2 days. So one of the
True.
questions is like, Dignitas threw a 3K gold lead. Who's the
Yep.
most to blame? And then let 3 people pick, like, oh, well, it was this person. It was this person. No, it was coaching. Like, let them actually debate the LCS and what's going on. Like, that's the thing about Around the Horn that made it so good, is like when they're talking about topics, like they're very honed in on a specific thing.
Yep.
That show was too overarching. They asked things that weren't related to League. They asked things that were related to League in general, to LCS, but it's like, this is a show leading to the LCS. Every question needs to be about the LCS. And if you're truly telling me that you don't have enough writers to be able to figure out those questions, I don't know what to tell you. I agree that the Friday spot was not good because you want to ask questions leading up into the current week, but there's only so many hypotheticals you can ask. So shift the show to a Monday and just purely ask questions based on what happened and allow it to be actual breakdown and analysis of it.
Yeah, just don't make it a cheap trick.
Yeah. Like, make it like an actual 30-minute show with a little bit of a break, or, well, it's a YouTube video, so you don't even need that. Just like a good 25-minute thing purely reflecting on the past week of League of Legends. Yep. And then like one prediction question at the end. And that's it.
Yeah, because right now it just doesn't have that vibe at all.
Voila, we just turned a show that nobody likes into not nobody likes. I don't want to say that, dear God, because I enjoyed it. We just turned a show that not as many people tune into something that's probably a lot more positive for the LCS without needing to create something brand new.
And as weird as it is to say, my one little last hint for them I think will help. Stick to 5 to 10 minutes. It's not going to kill you to stick to 5 to 10 minutes. People do not have attention spans for these 30-minute vids. Honestly, most of your videos should be 2 to 5.
Yeah.
Just how it is. Like, there's a reason in human, like, social media history, Twitter, Vine, TikTok have all succeeded as short method, get it out there quickly type of social media platforms.
TikTok is the #1 social media platform in the world right now.
Yep.
What does that tell you? People want content that's more than just words and more than just something like stupidly simple.
Yep.
But they still don't want it more than a minute on average.
Yep.
And that's
because
like,
they also don't need it that long.
No. And to the point made in chat, are they trying to get extra ad revenue from the longer videos? The ad revenue is nothing. So no. That was a design choice that they just simply made. They're like the ad revenue that they're getting on that is minimal to the point where it really just does not matter.
Slappa, I mean, they should be able to get a sponsor anyway on the video. They're a professional league, and they have people whose literal jobs are to do that and manage their sponsorships on every piece of content. So they should have a sponsor on every piece of content anyways.
Yeah.
If that's what's most important is making a quick buck on your videos, you should have a sponsor on there, slap it on there for 2 to 5 minutes. But you don't really need that. The whole point of the 2 to 5 minute videos is to get people to watch Friday through Sunday. And if people aren't watching
just
Friday
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, true. The whole point is to get people to watch Saturday and Sunday. And if people aren't doing that, then I mean, which they aren't. At that point. Yeah, there's no point. Your videos are falling on deaf ears, and it's always good.
But anything else you want to say on this before we move into locking? Because I do want to cover it for like 15 minutes prior to.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
Okay. So the Reaper article. Let's talk about that and lock in.
So basically, his personal tier list is what I would say ours has been that we've agreed upon is 100 Thieves, TL are the obvious two that he's feeling and we're feeling. And then his middle team right now is EG because they're the only one with actual their whole team there. And then C9 TSM sucks that their whole roster isn't there. And we'll wait to see what they have. And then don't know if he mentioned anything about Immortals because I didn't get to completely dive into it. I kind of just caught the scrapes, but I'd be interested if he did because that's kind of been our team that we've been like, maybe they can do something because they're old, but they probably won't, sadly. And he didn't mention anybody else because none of the rest matter. No. Although I still think CLG is a dark horse. I just feel it. I think that you can win through bottom lane in professional league.
Here's my prediction. I somewhat agree with his power rankings, but I'm going to adjust them for lock-in based on the teams that we're hearing. I think 100 Thieves is clear-cut #1. I think, and I'm going straight down top 5, like numbered. I'm not putting anybody in the same category. #2 is without a doubt Evil Geniuses, hands down. #3 is #3. I'm gonna say is Team Liquid, because they have to rotate out with Core JJ and Han Sama due to the green card of Core JJ not being in. They're my 3 team, regardless of Bjergsen and Whippo. My 4 is CLG, and my 5 is Cloud9.
Overall?
That's how I think it finishes. 6, I'm saying TSM.
That's not a bad take, I think. Yeah, sorry I had to stand up there. The vent was blowing directly into my eyes and just seething me. But
Way to go.
yeah, so everyone got a good nut shot. But um, that was, I would say I agree with most of it. Like, I don't see any problems because I don't really see what the heck TSM's Academy is supposed to do. I mean, I'm interested in their ADC a lot and their mid laner and their support. I think their whole bot side really, really interesting because uh, their ADC is 100 Thieves Prodigy, and 100 Thieves seems to pump out ADCs like mad.
Yep.
Their support is uh, Vietnam Prodigy, and their mid laner is obviously a Korean prod. So
Yep.
that'll be interesting. Their jungler and Viper kind of have me a little whatever. I mean, we'll see how that goes. But if they can pull something off, it'd be sick. Like, that would be nice. Don't expect it. The rest of them, yeah, I just agree. Like, I don't know. CLG is the only team I'm kind of iffy on, but it is what it is.
It's hard to tell because I weirdly enough don't know all the rosters of everybody that's playing. Like, I'm legitimately not sure of who's starting where. Because FlyQuest has their full roster, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so FlyQuest has their full roster. EG has their full roster. 100 Thieves has theirs. EG has theirs. Dignitas is irrelevant. And even they don't have their full roster, ironically. I don't know. It's I don't even know what to say at this point. I really don't. It's so hard to not just fixate on 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses at this point.
In TL, I mean, TL is very good.
TL, yeah, to a certain extent. It just sucks because they're going to be rotating players, which makes it a lot tougher to like really gauge where they're going to be. Because
I think the only thing to be excited about mostly is mid laners.
And bot laners to a certain extent.
Yeah, some of the bot lane matchups are going to be really good, but because Core JJ and Hansama can't play at the same time, that hurts it. I think the mid laners is where you're going to see a lot of interesting like narratives because that's where most of the interesting narratives are. And then top lane is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I guess I am more excited this than I thought. I just got myself so down in the last 40 minutes of conversation that it's like trying to bounce back up a little bit. By all means, I'm excited for lock in, and I think anybody that's saying like, "Oh, lock ins are irrelevant," imagine if the spring split was starting right now. Imagine, it'd be bad.
Spring split was?
If spring split was starting right now,
it would be bad.
So
terrible.
We have this enjoyable tournament that you can kick back, relax, watch for a bit, watch 100 Thieves kick everybody's ass in their Gucci polo looking jerseys, and call it good. I mean, it's just gonna be entertaining league. I don't think like you compare this to what the LEC is gonna have. The LEC is gonna have beyond hype matchups already, like immediately into the split. LCS is just gonna be purely about like the entertainment in the show.
Yeah, I agree actually to that. Like I think it'll be really LEC is going to be really interesting, and then LCS hopefully it's fun. Hopefully the games are intense, but I'm genuinely just worried about like hype. I don't know. I don't know.
Here's a good closer question for you.
Yeah.
What is the peak concurrent viewership going to be for both the LCS and the LEC this weekend?
I don't know. LEC probably breaks 300-400. LCS maybe 130.
I'm saying 300 for Vitality versus Mad Lions. That's going to be the most hype matchup. Well, actually, let me double check that. I don't want to speak completely out of my ass. Vitality Mad Lions is the first matchup of the day on Friday in a super week. That's going to be great. You have Oh, never mind. That's the match. Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock our time. Vitality versus Fnatic, the two top teams in the LEC already playing each other. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going to hit 400,000. I think it peaks at 400. And then I think the LCS I think if the LCS has a good weekend to my mind is hitting 6 figures.
Yeah, just terrible. Like, that's terrible.
And then we're going to come on next week and talk about viewership. Yay.
I mean, the issue is, like, they're going to need a big org to salvage this, basically. And I don't know if any of our big orgs can.
No, I don't think they can.
It's not good that... it's not great that TSM averaging what they're averaging are still basically pulling massive numbers.
Yep. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really have any other items to talk about, and I got to spend some time with Emily tonight. So,
yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we call it a night?
No, I feel good. Well, not good, but good enough, you know.
Do you feel optimistic for the future, or are you weary?
Weary after what they did this week.
Well, hopefully a good weekend of games will change our perspective.
I don't know. Maybe. But, I mean, they kind of trolled.
Yeah.
You know? You know what I'm saying. They trolled.
Yep.
It's not even a, like, they kind of trolled now. It's more of like a...
How bad is the damage going to... It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how bad it's going to be.
Yeah.
And by how bad, we're not saying the product's going to be bad. We're saying the viewership. The viewership is going to be your indicator.
Yeah.
So.
Because, like, right now, it feels like they're barely going to break 100K.
Yeah. I would love to be proven wrong. I hope we're proven wrong. But
I think so.
I don't know.
Because Bjergsen was supposed to be the big thing to come back and save viewership, and they haven't talked about him, like, at all.
Nope.
So
not once. We'll see.
Well, on that note, can't wait for next week.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. For those that don't know, somehow, some way, the LEC kicks off this Friday at 11 a.m. with Vitality versus Mad Lions, and the LCS kicks off later in the day at, I believe, 5 p.m. Let me double check that. Yes,
yeah,
5:30 with TSM versus 100 Thieves, the rivalry matchup between me and Paul, which we didn't even talk about one little bit because the main roster for TSM is not going to be in. Nothing you can do. Sorry, Paul. Yeah. Tune in.
Our academy team beats yours.
I would cry. I will cry.
I get
live on broadcast.
Yes.
Say it, Paul. Do it.
What? Oh, love you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Yep.
Sorry you can't play this week, Speaker.
Yeah.
Don't let them hold you back, Speaker.
Nothing you can do. Have a good week, guys. Enjoy League of Legends being back.